All right. So let's take a look at the alt season from last time one more time here. So we see on a more zoomed out level. This is ETH BTC. This is the ratio of Bitcoin to Ethereum. Okay. So I contend that currently in this alt season, we're only in the first phase, which I call the rotation phase. We might be starting the FOMO phase here soon. Then you have your shakeout or bear market phase, and then you kind of moon phase. All right. Now, what's important, what we had in this last phase was what I call the rotation. So you see here at the very bottom of my screen, right there, we had an event where Bitcoin sold off and Ethereum pumped versus Bitcoin. This is the best time to be trading because as Bitcoin's falling, you can be stacking more Bitcoin for this remainder of this run. But we want to try to catch this inversion event, which I think is still upcoming. We see these alts starting to ramp. We are like right here in the cycle. The alts are starting to ramp up, but it's coinciding with a bit of a peak in Bitcoin possibly. Then what happened is after this peak here, it kind of stagnated, consolidated a little bit, ETH versus Bitcoin as Bitcoin made its run. Now, when Bitcoin really started to pull away from its prior all-time high, which is kind of where we're at, so we may be over here as well. So this total inversion may not happen. We're going to check the charts here in a minute. But then as Bitcoin made a big run away from the prior all-time high, Ethereum pumped stronger. So alts, in theory, should outrun Bitcoin at some phase in here. And then as Bitcoin makes its really parabolic run at the very end, this is when we want to get out of alts. So what we're looking for is we're looking to trade this event, this inversion event. We're looking to trade this event, this FOMO event where everybody's FOMOing into crypto and alts are simply outrunning Bitcoin. So we want to take the rotation from Bitcoin into alts, trade that. We want to trade when alts are outgaining Bitcoin when the FOMO starts to kick in. And then when Bitcoin really starts to show its strength toward the end of the cycle, we want, for the grand finale up here, we want to be out of alts and all in Bitcoin. This is the time to be in Bitcoin. Actually, starting here, we want to be in Bitcoin here and out of alts for this last grand finale. Now, let's take a look at this on the how many months this was, right? So if we assume that this cycle is going to end in September, this will give us a gauge. So September, October, November, December, right? 4 months. So 4 months out. So right about June, we want to be probably out of altcoins. June is going to be the time to be out of alts and back into Bitcoin 100% for the grand finale in Bitcoin. Now, after Bitcoin sells off the last time, then that's the last moon phase for the alts, and they go ballistic here. It's kind of your moon phase, and they also have a good run here. They really moon when the FOMO kicks in and Bitcoin's really ramping and pulling away from the prior all-time high. So let's see what we want to trade. We want to trade the rotation. We want to trade the FOMO. We want to trade the moon. And we want to be out for the bear trap. But we also, actually I should add in here, rotation and this whole FOMO event here. I'm going to put, this is kind of that shakeout bear phase right here. But I'm going to change that term. This should really be the grand finale for Bitcoin, and also the bear trap shakeout and then BTC grand finale. We want to be out. We want to be out of alts for this event. So those two events, we want to be in here, out for these two, and then back in for the final mooning. Now let me show you why I say that the moon is at the end. And you look at this chart going, well, wait a minute. Ethereum clearly had peaked out here versus Bitcoin. Yeah, it had peaked out versus Bitcoin, but look at it on the this is what retail is going to be watching mostly. Let's look at it back on the USD chart. Here's the USD chart. So this event here looks like a non-event compared to after Bitcoin sells off. The moon phase is So they're following Bitcoin. They're losing versus Bitcoin toward the end here, toward Bitcoin's grand finale, but they're still moving up. But after Bitcoin sells off, right here, notice this. Focus right where my mouse is. Right here, when this starts to ramp, what's happening with Bitcoin? Right? People are moving their funds around. This is the moon phase. This is also a tradable event. It'll be short-lived, and we need to be careful. I'll be trading with a partial set of my funds. So those are the phases we're really looking for. Now let's see if we actually are in the rotation and or the FOMO phase. And this is what I wanted to study and try to figure out where we're at. So basically, if you have cash left in alts, wait for the pump and swap to BTC. Yeah. So again, the initial rotation, FOMO, and then alts kind of enter this bear phase as everything. It's not really a bear phase. Alts are just fluttering around. If I put back on here the USD chart, ETH USD, or ETH BTC, BTC, like the alts are losing versus Bitcoin. At least they did last cycle up until its grand finale. But this is an immediate sell-off right here. And that's after Bitcoin makes a big move and then everything sells off. I kind of call that a bear trap, right? So let's see if... Where am I? Oh, I lost my notes. Nonetheless. All right, back to... Good evening, Marcos. Which one do you prefer, ADA or ADA? I prefer ADA to Link. If I had to pick one. I like them both. All right, let's see where we're at now in this cycle, okay? So, we've made the case. We have five phases, right? Rotation, FOMO. Here we are. Rotation, FOMO, and then shakeout, bear trap, and BTC grand finale, and then alt's final moon. And they really moon here versus USD, right? Because Bitcoin's making it, and so they out appreciate Bitcoin, but they really moon. All right, here's our phases. Let's see where we're at. So if we go back to the BTCD, remember those dates that I had talked about there? All right, this is Bitcoin dominance. Now what we want to do is we want to try to capture when Bitcoin comes into these areas of resistance and then sells off and finds support. We want to capture these sell-offs in Bitcoin versus alts. And we want to capture these big moves, okay? So, assuming we get moves like that this cycle, who knows? We'll play it by ear. But remember those dates I told you. So October, November, and then December. This is when the grand finale of Bitcoin. So this is that FOMO phase I talked about. So this is when alts, and we see here they started to die. It's right through here. This is that FOMO phase. This is a big move. Let's go back to our BLX chart here real fast. And I'm going to put back up ETH BTC. So the very first time ETH really, this whole area right here, this is the real tradable time for altcoins. It's kind of mid cycle if I fix this light. So you see what I have marked back here is from the halving, and my chart's being stupid on me, so I can't even get down there to fix this. Get the idea. From the halving, it's a little bit over. It's starting about halfway through the cycle. Let's get that ping on my. All right, so it's about halfway through the cycle, and this started March 2017 and ended July 2017. So let's go look at the BTC dominance. So I'm gonna turn this off. My brother's messaging me. Okay. March from April, January, February, March. So this event was a sell-off from these ridiculous levels that we turn off the percentage. Bitcoin was like 90-something% of the market. There was this huge sell-off, found support July, and then fell again through August. came up into this resistance in December, which is the grand. So this phase right here was that FOMO phase in altcoins. Then you had that bounce, and then you had another leg when this was when altcoins went parabolic. This is when Bitcoin made a good move and altcoins went parabolic versus Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin did its grand finale. This is the grand finale right here for Bitcoin. Right? This is that bear trap area. When this is right through here, Bitcoin and alts all sold off together. Okay? So that was kind of the bear trap, and then Bitcoin made its grand finale. All right? So this was the FOMO phase. We want to trade. This is the inversion, then a bounce, then the FOMO phase, then a bounce, and then the moon phase for alts. Hope that made sense. So this is our inversion, FOMO. Then you had Bitcoin's grand finale, and then a sell-off. Okay. So let's see where we're at now. Now, granted, coming into this, Bitcoin had much less dominance. So we've been on this long-term downtrend that we see here. So coming into this, the beginning of our whole cycle here corresponds to, on this chart here is when the halving kind of happened, right? All right, right over there. So coming into it, the halving actually happened through here. This is our parallel to that prior. Charts are being super annoying. Okay, this is what we have to work with. This is the market levels coming out of the bear market. This was the bear market levels, and then coming out of the bear market. Okay, so what we've had here is a really strong run by Bitcoin, an initial rejection. So this is our first kind of run by Bitcoin, initial rejection. This should be either the inversion phase, and I think the inversion phase might have already happened, because if you look at an actual Bitcoin chart, let's look at it up close. Let's look at like a 4-hour. See the sell-off right here? I'm going to put back on the ETH BTC. I've got way too many. Why is it not showing? There it is. All right, so you see that the Ethereum to Bitcoin made a big jump. Like, why is this not? No, let's put it on USD then. Turn off the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. But if you look very, very closely, you'll see a similar thing happened, right? When did Ethereum start to pump? Well, it started to pump right here. It's corresponded to another leg up in Bitcoin right there. But if we draw some parallel lines, you'll see that right there, when the sell-off happened, so I'm going to change this color to purple so you can see that that's Ethereum. All right, so when Bitcoin started to sell off right here, Ethereum really started to pump. So this is that inversion. I think this is in progress. I don't think it's over with yet. So I think people have been, now some institutional money is still coming into Bitcoin pretty fast and furious, but I think people took profits from Bitcoin and moved them to Ethereum. And that might have been what was happening even starting back here. But you see here this big leg down. Let's just move this horizontal level. Let's get this zoomed in a little bit more so we can all kind of see this. So it's right here. You see this big wick down right before? So you see that wick down right there? That's the very wick. That was funds flowing into, that's an inversion into Ethereum. So these sell-off events pumped Ethereum this cycle. Thanks, Tanner. So my brother helped me. My brother apparently has been doing some YouTubing himself. I don't know. He won't tell me his channel. Seems silly, but he helped me with some thumbnails anyway. All right. So we kind of had this inversion event, I think, going on. I think the FOMO has yet to get going, and here's why I think that. Back to our Bitcoin dominance chart. Let's turn this off. I'm going to read some comments. Some say ADA has more room to run from market cap perspective. Oh yeah, Hood. A lot more room to run, for sure. Almost 1,000 subscribers. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. No problem. Yeah. I'm hoping to chop this up and make a little video for tomorrow. I was going to just make a video, but I was like, I'm just going to go live. It's almost easier to go live and then edit in YouTube later at this point. All right. So the Bitcoin dominance chart, we're at pretty elevated levels. I'm guessing that what we're going to have, and you saw a big sell-off here, so we've had a decent sell-off. I'm guessing what we're going to have, this inversion event, we're going to have a couple of bounces like we did here, right? A sell-off. So we still have a big potential rotation left ahead of us. And then we'll find some support level, bounce back, and then another leg down. This other leg down is going to be when Bitcoin really starts to, really starts to separate. Now, it's already separated quite a bit from the prior all-time high. So these stupid percentages are messing me all up. So we may be hitting the FOMO phase early. So this may be just straight FOMO phase. I don't know. We're definitely in the time to start trading alts though. But if we look at our Bitcoin dominance, this is what I kind of see happening, right? I see us making a big leg down. Something's going to cause it to bounce, and you get this idea right here, right? So you see this kind of this whole thing play out. I bet we get a move that looks like this, just like this. And maybe we sell, this is probably too shallow, right? It's probably something more like we come into a level down here that I'll have marked, bounce up to something like this, and then down. Now the question is going to be, what do we do at 50%? I think for a lot of this is the sweet spot right here from the 70 to 50. Because I'm pretty confident we're going to make a move to where the altcoins catch up enough cap space versus Bitcoin that they close this 50% gap. However, given that this cycle's playing out a little bit differently, given the institutional money, I don't know if we break this 50% and have alts really, really pump. Now that didn't happen, remember, until after Bitcoin started to sell off at Bitcoin bear market last time. So I guess that's a fair, we probably won't have that snap until after, if it does snap, until after Bitcoin goes into its bear phase. So but this is the meat of the move that we want to try to capture, is from where we're at right now as alts sell off into about this level. And that's where we should probably be looking to take profit, is about that level right there. And maybe we get our bounce here. I don't know. But I hope that's helpful. So you want to buy alts at the bounce back. So this is Bitcoin dominance. As Bitcoin's falling, alts are rising. So the higher this is, the weaker alts are. The lower this is, the stronger alts are, right? So what we want to do, right now Bitcoin is extremely strong versus altcoins. We want to be positioning ourselves into altcoins to capture this move of money into altcoins, which would coincide with a decline in the Bitcoin dominance, if that makes sense. All right, let's go look at some specific charts. I'm sick of talking about this, frankly. I think you guys get the point, though. Oh my goodness, Bitcoin's pumping again? What is going on? It's almost like this is bullish or something. All right, well, we're about to have a 38K party here in a minute on our hands. All right, back to levels. So ETH BTC, obviously we've broken out. We've got some really beautiful consolidation going in here. This is going to give us a really good entry signal. This is giving us a really good entry signal right now. This is what I've been waiting for. You see this upper trend line I've had here? My chart's getting a little bit busy, but you see this very upper trend line. I'll make it where you stand out a little bit more for you. This one is the one we're fighting against. That's the upper trend line. That's the breakout trend line. So we'll have to see closely what happens here. If we get a rejection here, take profits below this level, I think we're setting up for a trade entry as we consolidate under this for a move up. Now, in theory, we got a long way to go. So I've said that I'm looking, so back to that Bitcoin dominance chart, that big move from 70 to 50, that big move from 70 to 50 is going to correspond with a move in Ethereum from these 34,000 Satoshi level up to the 70,000 Satoshi level. So that's the inversion that we're going to see. So we want to be positioning ourselves into Ethereum and other alts for this big monster move that's about to happen. And that will probably coincide with, if you look here on this chart, we're now fighting the last piece of resistance before Ethereum's prior all-time high. Now I just said this in another video just not that long ago. I said Ethereum's going to play catch-up here very soon. It's going to make, I think I said it down here, right? If y'all remember, I said down here, it's going to make a move back to, I said 815 really fast. I blew through 815, went to 980, consolidated, but it's going to make a move back to its all-time high. Really, it's going to be a really fast move from these levels where it was consolidating back to its prior all-time high because there's such little resistance. So we're fighting the last piece of resistance right now. Once we break that, it'll fight with the prior all-time high, and once it breaks that, it's off. It's full FOMO phase for Ethereum. So Ethereum could go like 3,000 or 4,000 pretty fast once it breaks this. That's gonna be so when Ethereum goes from 1,400, so you'll see it like we'll break above here when it makes that move from 1,200 to 1,400. We should break above here and get some good consolidation for another entry. A breakout of the all-time high on Ethereum up to like some insane level 3,000 to 5,000. That's what's going to cause this Ethereum Bitcoin chart to do that, right? So it's going to be some huge monster level that Ethereum's going to hit, and that's where we're going to want to look to take profit, depending on price action and what's going on right here. ADA's obviously, so ADA's just now, look how much headroom ADA's got to move versus Bitcoin, and look at this prior all-time high. Remember, ADA made this all-time high of $1.40 back when it still wasn't even a functional. It was just an idea. It was just literally a white paper. It was just some like ICO coins that you could trade, but it was just a white paper. It wasn't even a functional protocol. Now it's a fully functional protocol. We're about to go completely live to where you can literally port straight from Ethereum to Cardano starting in March. And it's an easy port process to go from Ethereum to Cardano. So if it did this, right, if it went to $1.40 when it was just an idea, just a white paper, what's it going to do now? A lot more probably, but a link is strong. But this is why, I mean, I've been just saying this forever, but ADA is just getting started. I know it seems big, 30 cents, yay, but it's got a long way to go. Like, I'm not taking profit till we get up to like 41, 45 Satoshis. That's and by that point, Bitcoin will have moved up. That's a 10x move before I start to take profit. That's why I say about $3. So we should come into this level, this resistance right here, about the same time that Cardano's hitting $3. Now the question is because last time obviously these are much smaller caps, so the gains are going to be potentially a lot smaller. So we're probably not going to see spikes like this. So the same is true of Ethereum and Bitcoin, right? This is why I'm not saying I'm going to take profit way up here at the very top, because I don't know that we're going to hit the very top in this market cycle. I know we're probably going to come into this area. Pretty confident about that. If we break out above this and Ethereum makes a big run, maybe after Bitcoin sells off, we may see another spike like that. We'll see. I don't